In a mere 30 seconds, I stand on the precipice of homelessness. Yet my mind wanders to a more abstract concern. Does cerulean blue truly encapsulate the essence of winter? More vivid than ultramarine, the eviction notice crumples beneath my paint-stained fingers, a testament to yet another masterpiece that will remain unseen by the world. The canvas gazes back at me from the easel, a silent witness to my existence. I am Cameron Carter, and I have been deaf since the moment I drew my first breath. Many assume this condition defines me, but there is so much more beneath the surface. In the depths of a tragic silence, I find myself surrounded by a vibrant chaos that others fail to perceive. Each day unfolds like a canvas, splashed with hues so vivid that the very air seems to vibrate with their intensity. The crimson shades, in particular, resonate with a fervor that drowns out the quiet, a relentless scream that demands to be acknowledged. More than any voice, the yellow laughter resonates like the warmth of sunshine, while the blue whispers carry secrets that elude the ears of those who hear. The rents, 3 months past due, I fling the notice toward the brimming trash can, a silent testament to my mounting neglect, and thus unfolds the narrative of my existence, where the ceramic coffee mug, perched beside my palette, quietly proclaims its presence, a whimsical token from my sister Kay, who firmly believes that humor can mend all wounds, though I find it often falls short of its lofty promise. She has dubbed me the world's okayest artist, a title that both amuses and perplexes me. 20 minutes later, I find myself standing before Earth and Fire, a quaint artisan shop nestled along Main Street, which inexplicably draws me in. It brings a sense of solace to feel less like a failure, especially when the owner acknowledges my presence with a nod upon my arrival. There's no attempt at small talk, a gesture I appreciate, for the words would be lost on me today. In the window display, a new addition captures the eye, a hand-thrown ceramic vase, adorned with mesmerizing spiral patterns that seem to dance in the light. They appear to shift when one's gaze wanders, the luster transforming from a profound ocean green to a brooding storm cloud gray. Just as the sky above Oxnard takes on a somber hue when winter arrives unexpectedly, I find myself yearning for that vase, my fingers dancing through the air, in search of its familiar contours. Enveloped in thought, I envisioned how those graceful curves might translate onto the canvas. This could very well be the creation that alters the course of everything, one that compels gallery owners to cease regarding me as a mere charity case, wielding a paintbrush. Excuse me, I pivot around. A woman with piercing green eyes and impeccably styled brunette hair loomed just behind me, her presence so near that I could feel the weight of her gaze. A fragrance, luxurious and refined, one that whispers of her rightful place among the boardroom elite, rather than in the shadows of the ordinary. In the shadowy corners of dusty artisan shops, she extends her hand toward my vase. I respond with a subtle shake of my head, directing her gaze elsewhere. Myself, then the vase, a universal sign language for the declaration. I was here first. Lady she, raising an eyebrow, I sensed a disconnect in our conversation. I don't believe you grasp the urgency of the situation, I said, my voice steady. With a swift motion, I retrieved my phone and began to type, the screen illuminating my determination. In an instant, my gaze fell upon her. She studied the screen intently, and I watched as her expression transformed. Recognition flickered in her eyes, quickly followed by a shadow of pity. A deep-seated loathing for both emotions surged within me. You're deaf, I acknowledge, already extending my hand toward the vase. But her fingers intercept mine at the last moment. In that fleeting moment when our fingers brushed, the world around us seemed to pause, suspended in a delicate silence that held its breath. Silence envelops me, a familiar companion, yet this moment feels distinct, like the instant before lightning cleaves the sky. When the very air seems to pause, holding its breath in anticipation of what is to come, she stands there, a figure caught in the stillness, embodying the tension of the unknown. With a measured breath, I draw back, introducing myself as Fiona Rodriguez, the arts critic for The Weekly. I am acutely aware of the weight my words carry. In the quaint art scene of Oxnard, there exists a name that resonates with familiarity and admiration. Fiona Rodriguez. She is the woman who embodies the spirit of creativity in this close-knit community, who possesses the power to extinguish careers with but a single critique. The very individual who deemed Marcus Chen's most recent exhibition a lamentable squandering of canvas. Why on earth is she perusing the aisles for handmade ceramics? I type, pondering the absurdity of it all amidst the ticking clock of everyone's time. Cameron Carter, the painter, remains an enigma to me. Yet, perhaps that is not surprising. After all, it seems no one truly knows her work. The shop owner draws near, acutely aware of the palpable tension in the air. He is accustomed to the sight of patrons vying for his exquisite pieces, yet this atmosphere feels distinctly different. This lady, perhaps we can come to an arrangement. Fiona gazes at me once more, her eyes meticulously examining my expression. With a jacket splattered in hues of paint and jeans that bore the marks of countless adventures, I presented myself as a riddle she struggled to decipher. Coffee, she inquired abruptly, as if the very word held the key to an undiscovered realm. Next door, we can engage in a conversation befitting civilized individuals. I ought to refuse, to seize the vase and flee. Yet something holds me back. Her directness captivates me. While most people tread lightly around my deafness as if it were a contagion, she simply articulated it as it is. Indeed, the coffee shop is permeated with the acrid scent of charred beans and the faint echoes of aspirations unfulfilled. A rather typical ambiance. On a languid Monday afternoon in Oxnard, Fiona placed an intricate order, requesting additional shots to elevate her drink to perfection. We point to the house blend, casting our hopes into the ether as we sit across from one another in cracked vinyl chairs, relics of a time long past, bearing witness to countless stories and whispered secrets. In the quiet of the cafe, she retrieves a tablet from her bag, its screen glowing softly in the dim light. I reach for a stack of napkins, the rough texture inviting my thoughts. Why do you want the vase? She types, her fingers dancing across the keys. Seeking the spark of inspiration that eludes us both, I respond to you regarding the client gift. Yet I find that inspiration holds greater significance than mere tokens. In a moment of disbelief, I found myself questioning whether Fiona Rodriguez, the notorious destroyer of artistic dreams, had truly uttered those words. Inspiration holds greater significance than mere commerce. She leans in, her gaze intense, urging, "Show me your work." My heart races in response. Pressed against my ribs, this woman possesses the power to dismantle me before I even begin. Yet, she is also the first soul in months to inquire regarding my art, devoid of that condescending smile that conveys, "How courageous of you to make an attempt." I scroll through the images on my phone, a collection of landscapes, predominantly from Oxnard. It may not possess the allure of Paris, but it holds its own charm. Yet, the winter light graces our industrial coastline in such a manner that rekindles my faith in magic. She peruses through them, lost in thought. Her expression remained inscrutable, a mask of professionalism and detachment. Then, she paused, halting at a single point. A particular painting captures a sunrise over the pier, where golden and crimson hues bleed into the morning gray. This one, she types. It's she. She paused, her fingers hovering delicately above the screen, as if caught in a moment of reverence. It was a vision that embodied the very essence of what a sunrise ought to be. A gentle warmth unfurls within my chest, not quite hope, but something akin to it, a tender whisper of possibility, what sunrise should look like. Those words reverberate in my mind as we make our way back to earth and fire. Fiona Rodriguez, indeed, the woman who once characterized a local sculptor's creations as aggressively mediocre, now offered praise for my work in the dim light of the shop. A palpable sense of three-dimensional disappointment hung in the air. She pivoted towards me, her expression shifting as she unveiled a proposal that took me completely by surprise. She types on her tablet, her fingers dancing across the screen like a skilled pianist. Yet, a subtle tension hangs in the air as I raise my eyebrows, silently demanding something in return. As I linger in anticipation, a yearning to behold your studio consumes me. Mine, however, remains shrouded in secrecy, a chaotic realm of disarray and tumult, half-finished canvases, empty ramen containers, and dreams that stubbornly cling to life. Despite the weight of overwhelming evidence suggesting otherwise, there was something in the way she gazed at my sunrise painting that stirred a deep, unshakable feeling within me. With a sense of urgency, I type OK before the weight of common sense settles in, a mere 20 minutes later. As I stand before my apartment door, I find myself praying fervently that she does not arrive. Observe the unsightly water stains that mar the ceiling, or consider the peculiar reality that my kitchen table has been repurposed into a makeshift palette mixing station. She steps inside and comes to an abrupt halt, her gaze drawn to the commanding presence of my latest piece, which reigns supreme upon the main wall. A vast canvas unveiled the skyline of Oxnard, captured in the throes of last week's tempest, where dark clouds twisted and danced with threads of silver light, structures that seemed to pause in a moment of tension, embodying a fierce beauty that is both captivating and unsettling, rendered utterly unmarketable by the indifference of the masses, yearns for storm clouds to inhabit her living room. Fiona advances cautiously, her emerald eyes meticulously examining each brushstroke she encounters. She remains silent, her gaze fixed on the painting as if deciphering a foreign language. At last, she pivots, her expression questioning. "How long have you been here?" "For 5 years. I have been honing my craft." capturing fleeting thoughts and inspirations on the back of a napkin I pilfered from the coffee shop. While you immerse yourself in the world of painting, I find solace in the written word, often guided by the lessons gleaned from countless hours on YouTube. And with a hint of stubbornness, she nearly smiles at that almost, "This storm," she says, her voice carrying the weight of the tempest outside, pointing its essence unrefined. Yet there is something that captivates her as she trails off. Walking toward it, another canvas leaned against the wall, this one depicting the pier at low tide. All the exposed sand lay bare, a canvas of desolation, while abandoned shells dotted the landscape like forgotten memories. In this personal solitude, a profound quiet enveloped the scene, and you captured the essence of loneliness with remarkable finesse. It is not intended as an affront, merely an observation. I craft narratives. What tale do you have to share? She contemplates the essence of art's criticism, her fingers gliding thoughtfully over the surface of my makeshift desk, where brushes lie scattered like unspoken thoughts. Once, I harbored dreams of becoming a painter. My aspirations contained within the confines of old coffee cans. She types, reflecting on the past. I wasn't good. It appears that I possess a greater aptitude for discerning the reasons behind the triumphs and failures of others' endeavors. Severe critiques can evoke a sense of dominance, while candid assessments fulfill a communal duty, revealing the shortcomings of subpar artistry. One should not be lauded merely for the effort expended. I reach for a pristine napkin. What of the exquisite art that remains unseen, overlooked by the masses? She surveys my studio once more, absorbing the tumult and the allure, as well as the unmistakable signs of a financial struggle that linger in the air. It is a genuine tragedy, she types, as we delve into an hour-long discourse on technique and the wellspring of inspiration. The intricate web of local art politics enveloped her, as she navigated the familiar terrain, where gallery owners and collectors alike were but a heartbeat away. She was well acquainted with each player in this vibrant tableau, their ambitions and desires interwoven with her own artistic journey. Other artists, mere phantoms spoken of in hushed tones within the cozy confines of coffee shops, reveal themselves through her insights, which are razor-sharp, slicing through the veil of romance. Concepts of artistic anguish intertwine with the stark truths of the business world, offering a profound education. As the sun dips below the horizon, she stands beside my easel, where today's practice sketch lingers in a state of incompletion, a sunset. Yet again, for I find myself utterly captivated by its fleeting beauty. The light, transformative in its reach, alters all it encounters. "Can I ask you something?" she types, and I respond with a nod. "Do you miss it?" The question lingers in the air, a silent inquiry that many wish to voice but seldom do. I contemplate the notion of deception, pondering whether to offer her a fabricated response instead. One cannot truly lament the absence of that which was never possessed. Yet, I find myself yearning for the very notion of it, the melodies, the voices, the gentle patter of rain. And yet, I ponder. My eyes perceive hues that whisper to me in a language all their own. She gazes at me, then turns her attention to my tempestuous painting. "Oh, me," she murmurs, her voice a blend of wonder and recognition. "Show me how colors converse." I take a small canvas and squeeze paint directly onto its surface. From tubes, devoid of mixing or planning, emerges a cascade of pure color, instinctively responding to the vibrant call of red. With a sense of urgency, I wield my brush, dipping it into blue to evoke a profound depth. Yellow follows, a vibrant hue that embodies an unwavering hope. Relentless in its pursuit, each stroke is a testament to the emotions that surge within me. Devoid of deliberate contemplation, an abstract creation emerged, steeped in emotion yet devoid of any concrete imagery, simply existing in its own enigmatic essence. As I step back, the emotions I felt are transformed into vibrant hues. Yet it is Fiona who captures my attention, her gaze fixed upon me rather than the exquisite painting that surrounds us. Observing the painting unfold, the process captivates me, as if you are engaged in a profound dialogue with your craft. A conversation unfolds, yet I find myself straining to catch the words. An unspoken tension lingers, a palpable shift in the air between us. She upholds a veneer of professionalism, her carefully constructed walls standing firm, creating a barrier that feels both protective and isolating. In the sanctuary I have crafted from my art and my innermost feelings, the delicate barriers begin to fracture ever so slightly. She approaches, drawing near enough that I can feel the weight of her presence. And in that moment, I find myself captivated. Once more, the scent of her perfume envelops the air as her hand inches toward my face, fingers poised to brush against my cheek, only to retreat at the last moment. A A sense of urgency stirs within me. I know I should leave. Fingers dance across the keys with urgency. Yet neither she nor I make a single motion. The illumination from the west-facing window casts a warm, golden hue over everything it touches her skin, radiant and luminous. And the space between us, which now seems to shimmer with an unexpected intimacy, awash in a tide of unexpected possibility. I found myself unprepared for Fiona's arrival. As I began to write, she interrupted my thoughts. She shook her head, a gesture laden with uncertainty. With a few swift keystrokes, she conveyed her thoughts. This is complicated. I don't usually. She leaves the sentence unfinished, as if the words themselves are unnecessary. I write to her, yet she merely reads it and something in her expression shifts, softening, and before I can ponder the consequences too deeply, I bridge the gap between us. Between us, my hand discovers her cheek, my thumb gliding over skin that possesses a softness beyond reason. She does not flinch or pull away, drifts away. Our lips connect with a tender hesitation, a soft exploration that gradually deepens as her hands find their way to my waist, drawing me nearer. The flavor of her lips is reminiscent of rich, expensive coffee, infused with the essence of possibility as we break apart, our breaths quickening. She leans her forehead against mine, whispering, "Shit." She whispers, oblivious to the fact that her words escape my ears. Yet, I am adept at deciphering the dance of her lips, and a smile blooms on my face as I reach for a brush, ready to translate her unspoken thoughts onto the canvas. With a smudged napkin in hand, she mused, "Good or bad shit?" A genuine laugh escaped her lips as she began to type. A chilling invitation hung in the air. "Do you want to stay for dinner?" she asked, her gaze sweeping over the chaos of my studio, littered with empty ramen containers and remnants of a hasty meal. Amidst the unpaid bills and the beautiful chaos that envelops my life, she types with a hint of resignation. Yet I find solace in the simple act of ordering pizza, genuine sustenance. The pizza remains unrequested. As Fiona begins her task of clearing the paint, the brushes that rest upon my kitchen counter transform into something altogether different when she discovers my sketchbook, hidden away behind the coffee maker, the one brimming with drawings I have never revealed to a soul. Cameron holds it up. A delicate sketch captures hands in the act of signing poetry, fingers poised mid-conversation, embodying a moment of silent expression and connection. These are truly remarkable. I seize the book with urgency, a rush of warmth cascading over my cheeks. Drawings are intimate and unrefined. They emerge from the depths of solitude, a refuge for the weight of unspoken emotions. In those moments, I find a canvas to release the burdens that press upon my heart. She gently brushes against my arm, an unintentional breach of your solitude. I turn the page to reveal a sketch of a woman's profile. Her eyes gently closed, her face turned toward the light. It could be anyone. It could. She gazes at it for a prolonged moment, pondering the question, is this truly how you perceive the world? Always. In my quest for illumination, I find myself writing with urgency, for light is the sole element that resonates with clarity and purpose. It beckons me to reveal its truths. Every instinct within me screamed to guard these intimate fragments of my soul. Yet I found myself surrendering the sketchbook to her. As she turned the pages, a quiet tension filled the air. With a deliberate and reverent gaze, one examines each drawing as though it holds significance, as if you are not merely a Samuel. As a landscape painter, she says at last, you are capturing the essence of human connection. Gaps linger between individuals, a chasm of unspoken words. No one has ever grasped the essence of my work in quite this way. Not even a whisper of understanding has reached me before. Kay, who harbors a deep affection for me, struggles to comprehend my insatiable need to craft creations that may never find a buyer. Meanwhile, Fiona reclines on my paint-splattered couch, a silent witness to the chaos of my artistic endeavors. With the sketchbook balanced delicately on her knees, she hesitated for a moment, then spoke with a quiet sincerity. "Can I be honest about something?" I nodded, settling into the moment, ready to listen. Beside her, I have been an avid observer of your work for months. My pen halts, suspended in mid-word, as disbelief washes over me. What is happening? Do you recall that quaint coffee shop on Pine Street? The one that showcases the works of local artists. They are aware of it. 3 of my pieces have been displayed over the past year, yet none have found a buyer. I make my way there every Tuesday without fail. As I ordered the same dreadful coffee, I feigned interest in the pages before me. All the while, my thoughts danced around the vibrant hues of my paintings. In that moment, my heart stirred with an inexplicable emotion. There was a complexity nestled within my chest as I observed her gaze fixed upon the sketchbook, her fingers delicately tracing the lines that seemed to come alive under her touch. The edge of a page, for they stirred within me emotions long dormant, whispering that perhaps I had erred in my decision to surrender. The admission, a delicate brushstroke of vulnerability, lingers between us, both unexpected and profound. I write to you with the hope of a fresh beginning. I am 32, and my name is Cameron. My hands tremble as I attempt to express myself. As I grasp the brush, I gently take her hands in mine, examining her fingers with a careful eye. They are elegant, long, the hands of an artist. Even if they no longer employ them in that manner, demonstrate to me. I shall articulate what it means to create something truly remarkable. She shakes her head in protest, yet I find myself drawing her closer to my easel, my grip firm and unyielding. With a deft hand, she applied fresh paint onto the palette, her movements fluid and deliberate. I offered her one of my better brushes, a silent plea for collaboration. "I can't," she murmured, yet the challenge lingered in the air. "Can you?" Signs, oblivious to her lack of comprehension regarding the gestures. Yet something in my expression seems to convey meaning. For she takes the brush, her first stroke tentative, a line of blue unfurling across the pristine white canvas, trembling yet deliberate. Then, another shade of yellow mingles with the blue, conjuring an unexpected hue of green that I observe from my vantage point. She was close enough to sense the subtle shift in her breathing, the colors around them responding to her gentle touch. As her shoulders began to relax, the trembling ceases, and I realize I had forgotten. She whispers softly, her voice a gentle caress, as she adds a sweep of orange that it defies logic. Yet it unfolds with an inexplicable grace. I find solace as I rest my chin upon her shoulder, inhaling the delicate fragrance that lingers in the air. She leans back against me, a quiet stillness enveloping us both, painting, and for a fleeting moment, the world seems to brim with possibility. As she finally sets down the brush, the small canvas reveals an abstract seascape unfolds before the viewer. Its choppy brushwork, a testament to an uncertain technique, yet it pulses with a vibrant emotional life. There is a beauty in its chaos, a compelling force that draws me to write in its presence. She turns her neck in my embrace, the vibrant paint smudging her expensive blouse, a testament to the chaos of our shared moment. I find myself at a loss. It had been an eternity since I felt such a profound connection, one that intertwined the act of painting with the very essence of everything around me, enveloping the space in a tapestry of emotions. Between us, the world fades away. This kiss is unlike the ones before, hungrier, more assured. Her hands weave through my hair, pulling me closer. As I trace the buttons of her paint-stained shirt, I wonder if she truly breathes. With a gentle tug, I draw her closer, my lips barely grazing hers as we navigate the scattered canvases strewn across the floor, leading her toward the sanctuary of my bedroom, and weaving through the suspended canvases that transform my apartment into a labyrinth of creative aspiration. My bed remains in disarray, entwined in a cascade of volumes on color theory and technique. She appears unfazed as I sweep them aside, and we tumble together onto the sheets, likely imbued with the scent of turpentine rather than the comforting aroma of fabric softener, draped across her pale skin, which glowed softly in the waning afternoon light. As I gaze through the north-facing window, the light spills in, casting a perfect glow for painting. Thoughts flit through my mind, unbidden, before I find myself drifting into a silence. Captivated by her presence, her mouth finds my throat as we move together, slowly discovering the intricate rhythms that bind us. Her touch is imbued with reverence, as if she is committing something invaluable to memory. When I trace delicate patterns upon her back, she responds by arching into me, a soft surrender to the intimacy we share. There are sounds that resonate within me, sensations I perceive rather than merely hear. She approaches with caution, her demeanor tentative, as if uncertain of what I might reveal. I can perceive what eludes her grasp, guiding her hands with gentle precision, revealing how touch transforms into a language all its own, how sensation weaves itself into meaning. In a moment suspended in time, the words exchanged elude my comprehension, their meaning slipping through the cracks of my understanding. Later, we find ourselves entwined, our bodies a tapestry of warmth and intimacy, her fingers tracing languid circles upon my skin, each motion a silent promise of connection. As the light transforms into a golden hue, casting a warm glow upon everything it touches, she begins to inscribe her thoughts upon my palm with delicate precision. With a fingertip hovering over the surface of uncertainty, I find myself at a loss for words. This moment feels overwhelmingly vast, far too grand for the confines of my modest apartment, too intricate for someone like me to unravel, who struggles to make ends meet. I gently press my lips to her forehead and scribble on the notepad resting beside my bed. Together, we will find a way forward. She smiles, yet a flicker of concern lingers in her green eyes, a silent confession of unspoken thoughts. Cameron, she begins, only to falter, her words hanging in the air like a fragile whisper. She picks up the pen and writes, "There are aspects of my work that elude your understanding complications, such as what?" After a moment's hesitation, she penned the words, "The art world here is small. Whispers travel swiftly if they were to find out." We were entangled, yet the question lingers, suspended between us, weightier than it appears. She kisses me in lieu of a response, and I allow it, for what does it matter? Complications loom in her mind, a tapestry woven with the threads of concern for the political currents that govern the art scene she navigates. Yet, amidst this turmoil, none of it seems to hold sway over her resolve. In this moment, her body radiates warmth against mine, illuminated by the soft glow of the afternoon light, transforming the mundane into something extraordinary. And the tantalizing prospect that perhaps, at long last, someone might emerge. She perceives my work through a lens akin to my own, yet as she prepares to depart, vowing to reach out come morning, I notice her glancing at her phone, her expression tightened with worry. "Is everything okay?" I write, she said. "Fine." She types quickly, her fingers dancing over the keys as she mutters, "Just work stuff." The kiss she plants on my lips is soft and lingering, yet a lingering sensation tugs at my consciousness, an unsettling awareness that something has shifted. The intricacies of what lies ahead remain shrouded in uncertainty, yet I sense the complexity is poised to unravel in ways I cannot yet fathom. Days drift by before I catch sight of Fiona once more. 3 long days spent glancing at my phone every 5 minutes, feigning indifference to the anticipation that gnaws at me as I blend hues for a fresh creation. The doorbell emits a sudden flash, signaling the presence of Kay through the visual alert system. Last Christmas, I installed a peephole, and through it, I caught sight of a delivery man, his hands cradling an envelope that concealed within it 2 tickets to an undisclosed destination. This evening's gallery opening at Marcus Diaz's establishment, accompanied by a handwritten note from an individual who identifies as a friend and holds a steadfast belief in your work, an enigmatic presence in the art world, serves as a kind of fairy godmother in Oxnard, does it not? The event showcases a selection of promising local artists, with tickets available for the price of 40 each. I invested actual money in this endeavor, reaching out to Kay with the intention of attending an extravagant gallery event. This evening, her reply arrives without hesitation, a resounding affirmation. Absolutely. I'll bring the exquisite push-up bra. Marcus Diaz Gallery resides within the embrace of a transformed warehouse in the heart of downtown, its walls adorned with the raw beauty of exposed brick. The industrial lighting casts a striking glow, imbuing the evening with a sense of gravitas, as it illuminates the vibrant art of Oxnard, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. In that moment, we observe the scene before us, a dozen individuals, each one a curious traveler, their glasses of wine in hand, having wandered in from the bustling tourist district. Kay and I exchanged glances, taking in the vibrant tableau that unfolded around us. She stood there, an anomaly in the thrift store, clad in a dress that seemed to scream for attention, while I, in my only clean jeans and a blazer, felt the weight of our contrasting appearances. That lingering scent of turpentine fills the air as I turned to find Marcus, Cameron Carter at my side. Diaz approached, his silver hair glinting under the soft light. Clad in a suit that spoke of luxury, he knew my name. Marcus Diaz recognizes me, and I've longed for this encounter. He gestures invitingly, as if to draw me closer. He beckoned me to follow him to a more secluded corner. "Your work has come to my attention recently," he remarked. "Someone sent it my way." He presents me with photographs of his paintings, accompanied by a remarkably persuasive unsigned review that he hands over with a sense of pride. "Kindly provide me with a printed document comprising 3 typed pages that delve into an analysis of my technique, my application of color, and my distinctive viewpoint on coastal themes." Isolation possesses a certain sophistication, offering insights that are both profound and entirely veiled from the outside world. I find myself at a loss. Realization dawns upon me as I sign, only to recall that he likely does not comprehend ASL. Kay inquired, her curiosity piqued, about the identity of the author behind this anonymous submission. "Who penned these words?" she asked, turning to Marcus for answers. "It is said, but someone believes in your talent enough to go to considerable lengths." The review is indeed favorable, truly exceptional. It portrays my storm painting as though it has already found its place within the hallowed halls of a museum, dissecting my brushwork with an analytical rigor that borders on the scholarly. Whoever penned this piece possesses a deeper understanding of art theory than I could ever claim. Across the gallery, my gaze lands upon a familiar brunette, her presence both striking and evocative. With her flowing hair and piercing green eyes, Fiona Rodriguez stands beside a sculpture that resembles a tangle of twisted metal, evoking a sense of intrigue and complexity. In the midst of an identity crisis, she adorned herself in understated yet expensive black attire. Her gaze fixed intently upon me as I conversed with Marcus. In a moment suspended in time, our gazes intertwine from opposite corners of the room. She offers a subtle nod, a gesture laden with unspoken understanding. And then, she turned her attention back to the conversation with the two unfamiliar women. Miss Carter, Marcus continued, I would like to discuss, perhaps a modest exhibition of your work next month, where my heart momentarily halts in anticipation. Kay's grip on my arm was fierce, leaving behind marks that would linger long after the moment had passed. Truly, the review had swayed my thoughts completely. To behold your paintings in person is to encounter a rawness that is undeniably captivating. Within each stroke lies a genuine emotion, a rarity in a market so thoroughly saturated, in a world where ideas often eclipse the artistry behind them. An authentic sentiment proves to be the true currency of connection. He extends his business card towards me, a silent invitation to bridge the gap between our paths. Call me, he suggests, the weight of possibility hanging in the air. Tomorrow, as the sun rises, we shall delve into the intricacies of our plans. Kay, practically vibrating with anticipation, watches Cameron retreat into the distance. This moment, she knows, is pivotal. This is it. It is your respite. Yet my gaze remains fixed on Fiona, who is now engrossed in conversation with a statuesque blonde, adorned in exquisite jewelry that catches the light with every gesture. It likely exceeds the cost of my rent. I take my leave and navigate through the throng, skillfully avoiding the clinking wine glasses that threaten to disrupt my path toward her, and the lofty musings surrounding the institutional critique of a painting that resembles a careless spill of ketchup upon the canvas. A rather amusing review. I find myself reflecting on it as she sought to reach her. A flicker of apprehension crossed her features, and she cast a wary glance around. I don't understand what you're implying, she replied, her voice laced with uncertainty. The submission, it seemed, was not truly Cameron's. Her tone had shifted, adopting a more polished and professional demeanor that set her apart from the rest. Yesterday afternoon slipped through the cracks of time, an event that never truly unfolded. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice tinged with a mix of confusion and urgency. It's complicated, she replied, her gaze shifting as she stepped toward a more tranquil space, seeking solace in the silence. In the quiet solitude of the cove, I tread carefully, aware that my editor remains oblivious to the truth of my authorship. Should they uncover the secret, the consequences would be dire. To assist an unknown artist could lead to dire consequences. The specter of losing my position looms large, a harsh reminder of the delicate balance between support and the unwavering principles of journalistic integrity. The weight of those words lingers, sharp and unforgiving. Is that what I am, a compromise? She glances around once more, her gaze searching for answers in the shadows of the room, ensuring that our conversation remains private. I must confess, you are the most gifted painter I have encountered in many years. However, should others draw a connection between us, in matters of the heart, they would readily dismiss any favorable portrayal as mere bias, leaving us to navigate our clandestine affair in the shadows. The enigmatic blonde woman by my side, before I can formulate a response, she approaches with an air of refinement that unmistakably exudes the essence of old money and deep-rooted connections within the art world. Fiona, my dear, you simply must facilitate an introduction to your friend, Rebecca Chen, for I am most eager to make her acquaintance, along with Cameron Carter. Cameron, an emerging painter, stood before Rebecca, whose handshake was firm and appraising. I represent numerous galleries in Los Angeles, perpetually in search of new talent. Regard me with the scrutiny of an art connoisseur, contemplating a potential masterpiece. Fiona spoke of the promise held within your workshop. Did she? Indeed, she did. There exists a fervent enthusiasm for unearthing new artists, a zeal that resonates deeply. In Rebecca's tone, one can discern an unmistakable understanding, a certain knowing that captivates the listener. The quality of her gaze ignited a curiosity within me, prompting questions about what Fiona might have revealed regarding my existence. I must seek out my sister, I thought, a sense of urgency compelling me forward. The distance that lingers in this conversation, coupled with Fiona's reluctance to fully meet my gaze, is palpable. Fiona possesses my card. Should you find yourself intrigued by opportunities in Los Angeles? I nod with a semblance of politeness before making my discreet exit toward At the elegantly set table, Kay effortlessly captivated the attention of an older gentleman, whose years likely surpassed those of our grandfather. Yet, his wealth was substantial enough to render age a mere detail in the grand tapestry of the evening. She purchases the art regardless, her demeanor calm and composed. With a subtle nod, she signs her approval, and I respond in kind. though the atmosphere is tinged with an unspoken tension. Not 20 minutes later, Fiona discovers me engrossed in the contemplation of a sculpture that appears to have been crafted by an exceptionally imaginative hand. Aliens. Can we talk? She types on her phone screen, a thought that lingers in the air, both curious and unsettling. It is indeed a complicated matter, yet I find myself indebted to you for an explanation. We quietly slipped through a side door, emerging into the shadowy embrace of the alley. Behind the gallery, the cool night air caresses my overheated skin as Fiona strikes a match to ignite a flame. With trembling hands, she lit a cigarette, the flame flickering in the dim light. "I didn't expect this to happen," she murmured, exhaling a cloud of smoke that hung in the air like a whispered secret. As I leaned in, the cadence of her speech wrapped around me like a delicate thread, and I found myself deciphering her intentions through the subtle movements of her lips, contemplating how this skill might serve my professional journey. As she reclined beside me, taking a long drag from her cigarette, I couldn't help but reflect on the 5 years I had invested in this intricate tapestry of emotions we had woven together. The integrity of this moment hung in the balance. A single connection with an artist I had fervently supported threatened to unravel everything. This, I realized, was a grave misstep. No, the word escapes her lips with a sharpness she hadn't intended. Yesterday was not a mere mistake, but it cannot occur again until after your... She extinguished the cigarette, letting it fall to the ground, and stepped closer, a determined glint in her eyes as she prepared to unravel the complexities that lay ahead. So near that I can detect her fragrance mingling with the acrid scent of cigarette smoke. "Cameron, what I feel for you transcends simplicity. It is anything but straightforward. It was never safe for either of us, after all. When has art ever been synonymous with safety?" She almost smiled at the thought. In that fleeting moment, she leans in and kisses me swiftly, almost frantically, as if she knows time is slipping away. With a hint of regret lacing her voice, she murmurs against my lips, urging me to retreat back inside. Yet she hesitates, remains still for several heartbeats, her forehead gently pressed against mine as we share the same breath. When she withdrew her professional facade, allowing a moment of vulnerability to surface. "Congratulations on the gallery opportunity," she states with an air of formality. "You deserve it." And just like that, she departs, leaving behind a lingering silence. Alone in the dimly lit alley, I could still taste her lipstick lingering on my lips, a vivid reminder of our encounter. With each passing moment, the realization deepened within me. I was on the precipice of attaining everything I had ever desired. It may demand a price greater than I am willing to bear. Just a week following the gallery opening, for which I am deeply immersed in preparation for my inaugural exhibition, a genuine spectacle unfolds as someone hammers on my door with a fervor that suggests they intend to shatter it. Through the peephole, I catch a glimpse of Kale's figure, with a familiar scowl etched upon her features. She cradled a cup of coffee, her gaze piercing and laden with an intensity that suggested something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface. "We need to talk," she signs the moment I open the door. "Good morning to you too," I reply, a hint of curiosity lacing my voice. He strides past me into the apartment, his gaze sweeping over the disarray of canvases leaning against every conceivable surface I've managed to find. For days on end, I have immersed myself in the world of colors and canvases, striving to create a sufficient collection for Marcus's upcoming exhibition next month. Who is she? This Kay, who insists on bringing order to the chaos of my artistic fervor. Seated cross-legged upon my paint-splattered couch, I ponder the enigma of identity. Who is she? The woman who has captured your attention, striding about as if you had consumed the very essence of sunlight. Don't feign ignorance with me, Cameron. I concentrate on the task of cleaning brushes, all the while biding my time. Kale's protective instincts surge to the forefront whenever I express even the slightest interest in another. Yet, this particular situation is anything but straightforward. Amidst the absence of familial turmoil, she finds herself alone. With a sigh, she retrieves her phone, her fingers poised to connect with the outside world. After the gallery event, I delved into some research, and what I uncovered about Fiona Rodriguez sent a chill coursing through my veins. What sort of reputation does she possess? In the course of my investigation, I unearthed a startling truth. She has obliterated more artistic careers than a raging inferno consumes a warehouse. Do you recall Tommy Chen, the sculptor whose creation she deemed aggressively mediocre, relocated to Portland following that scathing review? From my vantage point, it appears that you are succumbing to the allure of someone who possesses the potential to unravel your very existence. As I set down the brushes, the bristles still glistening with remnants of color, I turned to face her. The air between us crackled with unspoken tension, a palpable reminder of the choices that lay before us. Even if that were true, I began, my voice steady yet laced with an undercurrent of defiance. It's my choice. I paused, allowing the weight of my words to settle in the space that separated us. Your choice to trust. The declaration hung in the air, a fragile thread connecting our fates, as I awaited her response. The silence stretching like a canvas yet to be painted upon. In that moment, the world outside faded, leaving only the two of us, poised on the brink of a decision that would alter the course of our lives forever. Someone whose profession revolves around the evaluation of art. Cameron, you are finally making progress. Do not allow a critic to derail your journey. With your head, yet before I can muster a reply, she shifts her focus. Engrossed in her phone, her expression revealing a myriad of thoughts. It appears she has stumbled upon something quite intriguing. And here comes the delightful twist. She turns the screen toward me, a glint of mischief in her eyes, and reveals the author of the piece. An uncredited appraisal, lauding your craft just as Marcus serendipitously unearthed your gift sends a shiver through me. The weight of the review settling heavily in my gut, the individual who presented me with this opportunity, Kale, has uncovered a link that ties it to Fiona. Yet, I find myself unable to substantiate it, as she persists in her assertions. Yet, the prose remains consistent with her earlier works, employing the same vocabulary and analytical approach, shrouded in an air of mystery. The benefactor's presence lacks the enigma I once imagined. The room constricts around me, and I reach for my jacket. Where are you headed? I find myself yearning for fresh air, a moment to breathe, a space to gather my thoughts. I must contemplate whether the tumultuous events unfolding in my life are genuine or merely a manifestation of Fiona's remorse for her liaison with an artist. The Oxnard Arts Weekly office is nestled within a modest strip mall, flanked by a nail salon on one side and a tax preparation service on the other. Not precisely, though, the esteemed location one would anticipate for the region's foremost arts publication, where the receptionist scarcely lifts her gaze from her tasks. Her computer lay silent, a mere backdrop to the unfolding scene. "Can I help you?" she inquired, her voice a gentle invitation. With a pen in hand, she began to write on a piece of paper, her thoughts swirling as she searched for Fiona, a name that lingered in the air like an unfulfilled promise. "Rodriguez is currently engaged in a meeting with Mr. Harrison, discussing matters pertaining to the editorial department. Through the fragile barriers that separate us, I catch the sound of raised voices. One of them is unmistakably familiar. Fiona's demeanor was one of sharpness and defensiveness. She insisted, "This isn't a matter of standards, it's about your need to cover. For someone with whom you share a personal connection." A man's voice resonates with anger. Shrouded in anonymity, the review recommendation arrived via your submission system. "Fiona, I must insist that you refrain from underestimating my intelligence. I adhere to the established protocol with diligence. Should you possess any evidence of misconduct, I urge you to present it. However, I find myself relying not on tangible proof, but rather on the keen ability to discern patterns. Thus, I suggest you first submit in a quiet corner of the art world." An anonymous review emerged, extolling the talents of a local artist, whose name had yet to resonate beyond the confines of their community. The words flowed with an elegance that captured the essence of their work, igniting a spark of interest that soon transformed into something more profound. Suddenly, the artists found themselves under the spotlight, securing gallery representation that marked a pivotal moment in their journey. And just like that, they were seen, their once hidden brilliance now illuminating the broader canvas of the art scene. Departing from Marcus' initial remarks, she asserted that her private life bore no influence on her professional endeavors. "Your professional judgment is on the brink of jeopardizing your career, as the intricacies of your personal life threaten to overshadow your ability to articulate the significance of Cameron Carter's contributions." Found myself caught in the gaze of Marcus Diaz. Perhaps it would be best to retreat, to walk away and feign indifference. I have never encountered such a sentiment before, yet my feet remain rooted in place. Cameron Carter stands as the most gifted painter this town has witnessed in many years. Fiona's voice resonates through the door. If championing authentic talent is a reason for expulsion, then perhaps the worth of publication diminishes when the talent lies entwined with the very critic who unearthed it, shrouded in a silence that speaks volumes. "Then you're fired. Fiona, clear out your desk." The door swung open, and with a fierce determination, Fiona stormed out, leaving a palpable tension in her wake. Her face, flushed with a mix of anger and a hint of panic, froze as she caught sight of me seated in the waiting area. Area Cameron, what brings you here? Before I could respond, Mr. Harrison made his entrance. In the doorway stood a figure who embodied my expectations perfectly, a middle-aged man, his hair thinning and receding, the very essence of a familiar archetype. Ah, a man who regards art merely as a commodity. Miss Carter, I presume you have encountered him. Fiona seized my arm with urgency, her eyes alight with the mix of excitement and concern. We should go. Actually, she insisted. As a palpable buzz of intrigue enveloped us, Harrison pressed on, his curiosity piqued. I am eager to hear from the artist herself. Were you aware that Miss Rodriguez had intentions of writing? Thoughts lingers, heavy and suffocating. The inquiry, unspoken yet palpable, dances between us, a specter of the past. Fiona's hold on my hand tightens, a silent plea for clarity amidst the swirling uncertainties. The muscles in my arm tightened as I prepared to respond, my fingers moving to form the signs. Yet, amidst the urgency of the moment, my thoughts drifted back to Harrison. She struggles with understanding ASL and is eager to find out if you were aware of Fiona's review. Quietly, Harrison presses his gaze between them, seeking Fiona's presence. Her career lay in tatters, and there stood Harrison, that infuriating smirk plastered across his face. In that moment, I came to understand that I was ensnared in a web far more intricate than I had ever imagined. Amidst the turmoil of my own bewilderment, I retrieve my phone and compose a message. Fiona Rodriguez is the most ethical person I have ever encountered. If she wrote about my work not out of personal interest, but because she genuinely believes in its value, an intriguing notion that Harrison articulates. For, as per her own timeline, your involvement predates the submission of the review. My heart falters as Fiona draws to a close. Her eyes, Cameron, I can explain. Can you? Because it appears as though everything is unraveling. The unexpected surge of my success seems to have been orchestrated by an individual who found me appealing. Yet that is not the essence of my journey. What transpired next? She cast her gaze around the office, her eyes settling on Harrison, who was observing intently. This drama unfolds with a captivating intensity, surpassing even the most riveting cable television, as the receptionist feigns diligence while her true engagement lies elsewhere. Eavesdropping. Not here, she finally declares, but I am already making my way toward the door. Cameron, wait. I turn back one last time, questioning the reality of it all. Was any of it truly real? The review, the moments we shared, were they mere figments of my imagination? In the gallery, she parts her lips as if to speak, only to seal them once more in silence, a gesture that conveys more than words ever could. I remain seated in my car for 20 minutes, contemplating all that I must understand beyond this metal cocoon. My hands finally cease their trembling, allowing me to grasp the steering wheel with a semblance of control. Just then, my phone vibrated insistently, a flurry of messages from Fiona lighting up the screen. Yet I remained unresponsive. Upon my return home, I resolved to discard them unread. Kay, upon catching sight of my expression, envelops me in her embrace, offering solace as tears cascade down my cheeks. I'm sorry, she murmurs softly. Indications I wished were untrue. Yet therein lies the essence of truth. 2 weeks later, I found myself standing in the Marcus Diaz Gallery, surrounded by unfamiliar faces, each absorbed in their own world, indifferent to my presence. Assess my life's endeavors amidst the clinking of cheap wine and the weighty judgments of costly opinions. The inaugural evening, which ought to have marked my grand triumph, now resonates with an unsettling dissonance, like a somber gathering. Kay navigates the room with the finesse of a seasoned networker, captivating potential buyers while deftly sidestepping any unwelcome inquiries. Questions linger in the recesses of my mind, unanswerable yet persistent, while each compliment I receive rings hollow, a mere echo of the truth that lies beneath the surface of my journey. The hues that dance across the seascape are nothing short of extraordinary. A woman adorned in pearls imparts to her companion a sense of profound feeling, an intensity that resonates deeply. If only she were aware of the depths of her own emotions. I have not exchanged a word with Fiona since that calamity unfolded at the newspaper office. She has reached out through texts, made phone calls, and even appeared at my doorstep. In that apartment, I once believed I could find solace. Yet now I dread the thought of confronting her with whatever rationale she believes might mend this rift. The reality is stark and unembellished. Everything I had envisioned has unraveled. The reward I received was bestowed upon me by an individual burdened by the weight of their conscience, a remnant of our shared intimacy. Just then, Cameron Marcus materialized at my side, his presence both unexpected and unsettling. With a furrowed brow, you should be engaging with the crowd. These individuals are eager to connect with the artist I embody. I nod and affix a smile that resembles the heavy application of stage makeup, enduring 20 minutes of obligatory conversation about my technique and, in a moment of clarity, I find refuge in the secluded corner where my storm painting resides. It stands as a testament to my pride, a vivid embodiment of all the anger I have channeled into its creation. And beauty, ensnared in oil and tinged with desperation, was the first that Fiona beheld in my studio, the one that ignited everything that followed. Everything held a potent weight as I turned to discover a man I did not recognize, his gaze intent and probing. The painting, adorned with hues that whispered of the mid-40s, depicted a figure clad in an expensive suit, exuding a confidence that could only be born from serious wealth. "Are you the artist?" I inquired, my curiosity piqued. I nodded in response. "David Chen, a connoisseur of contemporary art, curates exquisite pieces for discerning private clients. He presents me with a glossy portfolio. This business card resonates deeply with me. The way you've encapsulated isolation is remarkable, managing to convey a sense of depth without descending into despair. Thank you. It has come to my attention that your discovery has stirred a considerable amount of controversy. Detractors assert that your work received undue promotion. Inappropriately, a tightness gripped my chest as the whispers began to weave their way beyond the confines of Oxnard's modest borders. The art scene, a realm of vibrant expression and profound introspection, beckoned with a singular question. He pressed on, his curiosity palpable. Did someone else's opinion shape your creative journey? The answer, resolute and unwavering, emerged from the depths of conviction. No, no one can dictate the subject of your canvas or the manner in which you wield your brush. Beyond that, everything else is merely a whisper in the wind. He revisits the tempestuous painting, contemplating the intricate dance of colors and forms. In this moment, art reveals its essence, existing independently of the tumultuous world of politics that often seeks to overshadow it. Before I could formulate a response, a commotion erupted near the gallery entrance. Raised voices pierced the air, drawing my attention to someone in distress. As I found myself embroiled in a spirited debate with Marcus regarding the guest list, my gaze shifted to the throng of people. There, navigating through the sea of bodies, was Fiona Rodriguez, her presence commanding attention as she made her way toward us. She had not slept in days, her weary form draped in the same black dress that had graced her at our inaugural gallery opening. Yet now, it bore a different story. With a furrowed brow and a hint of desperation in his voice, Marcus stepped forward, addressing her with urgency. "Miss Rodriguez, I believe it would be best if you left just 5 minutes ago," she declared, her voice resonating through the air, compelling half the room to turn and gaze in her direction. "That is all I require." Her gaze seeks mine across the expanse, and in that moment, the world around us fades into oblivion, leaving only the inquisitive murmurs of Marcus. With a sense of urgency, I clutched David Chen's business card, its edges crinkling under the pressure of my clammy grip. She appeared shattered, her spirit dimmed. "Cameron, please," I implored, my voice barely above a whisper. "I ought to retreat, to allow Kay to manage the situation while I seek refuge in the bathroom until she departs. Yet, instead, I find myself confronting her in the heart of the gallery, encircled by my creations. I found myself amidst a sea of 50 unfamiliar faces, all eyes fixed upon the unfolding drama. "You came," I uttered, the weight of the moment hanging in the air. "I felt compelled to share this with you before it reaches your ears through another source." She reveals a carefully folded piece of paper. This week's edition of Arts Weekly features a headline that boldly proclaims, "Former critic admits to an ethics violation." My hands tremble as I peruse Harrison's editorial detailing Fiona's dismissal, replete with, "There were murmurs of speculation regarding the nature of our relationship and the authenticity of my impending success," a topic he chose to publish this morning. Yet, she turns the page, her fingers gliding over the glossy surface, and finds herself in the art section. There, a full-page review unfolds beneath the byline of a staff writer, capturing her attention. A scathing critique of my work emerged, labeling it as technically proficient yet emotionally exploitative, while also casting doubt on the integrity of my gallery. The narrative unfolds as a cautionary tale, delving into the intricate web of nepotism and the complexities surrounding local arts funding. As the room begins to spin ever so slightly, one might ponder the identity of the author. Was it Harrison? Perhaps, with an unwavering resolve to dismantle any semblance of credibility my endorsement may have afforded you. I can assure you that the gaze of the onlookers is now firmly fixed upon you. Marcus hovers nearby, clearly caught in the delicate balance between safeguarding the reputation of his gallery and offering unwavering support to the artist in whom he has placed his trust. "Why are you sharing this with me now?" Tomorrow, every art blog will be buzzing with this news. California is poised to unveil a narrative that will shatter your reputation. Orchestrated by an individual who has never grasped the weight of such power. With a paintbrush in hand, he navigated the canvas of his existence, her voice trembling as she uttered the final words, a poignant declaration of love that lingered in the air. The confession descends like a chill, a cascade of simple words that transform the landscape of reality, altering everything and yet, paradoxically, nothing at all. From that very first day in your studio, I have cherished you. I remember how you poured your soul into every stroke, moving with a fervor that captivated me entirely. The hues around you formed the sole dialect in which you found solace. She approached, undeterred by the throng of onlookers, feigning disinterest in their prying ears. I composed that review to honor your work, not due to our past intimacy, but because it truly merits recognition. In the span of 5 years spent immersed in the world of critique, I have yet to encounter an artist whose talent rivals yours. How can I be so certain of this assertion? Because I am. Here I stand, dismantling the remnants of my career to affirm that she is indeed correct. By making this public declaration tonight, she unwittingly validates every rumor that Harrison seeks to propagate. Fiona, I am aware. It is clear that you harbor doubts about my intentions. While this may appear to be a form of manipulation, I urge you to consider the undeniable truth that your art conveys. Cameron, take a moment to observe your surroundings. I am here, steadfast in my support. Her gaze swept across the gallery, where, despite the surrounding drama, people remained engrossed in my paintings. David Chen stood absorbed, lost in thought. In a quiet corner of the cafe, Marcus and I engaged in a thoughtful dialogue regarding the pricing of my peer series. Across the table, a young couple wrestled with their emotions, contemplating the profound effects of the work before them. Their debate was not merely about cost. It was a reflection of the deeper connections and sentiments that art can evoke. They are present not merely at the behest of a critic, but rather because Fiona understands that her artistry evokes a profound beauty, one that stirs emotions deep within the hearts of those who encounter it. Before I can gather my thoughts, she delves into her purse and retrieves an object delicately swathed in tissue paper. The ceramic vase, the very one that ignited the spark of everything that followed, was a gift I chose for you, she said. It is placed in my hands, for inspiration holds greater significance than mere networking. Authentic emotion is the sole essence that truly resonates. There exists a thing of profound significance, a vase that radiates warmth, its solidity and authenticity reaching beyond the ordinary confines of existence. In the hushed atmosphere of the gallery, where whispers danced like shadows, she leaned closer, her voice barely a breath. Say something, she urged, her eyes scanning the room, searching for the unspoken truths hidden among the art and the intrigue that surrounded us. More time spent at K, where she observed Marcus from across the room, his mind clearly engaged in the intricate dance of damage control. The inquisitive expressions of those around me hinted at the whispers that would circulate for weeks to come. With deliberate care, I placed the vase upon a nearby pedestal, a silent witness to the unfolding drama, and kissed Fiona Rodriguez in front of the gathered crowd. She embodies a flavor of desperate hope and a courage that comes at a price. As we separate, the room descends into an eerie silence, a stillness that envelops us completely. I find myself speaking into the void. With a voice that resonated through the room, the speaker declared, I suppose that puts the rumors to rest. Laughter erupted, a ripple of amusement spreading as another voice joined in, adding to the chorus of mirth. Before long, half the room is enveloped in laughter. Captivated by the sheer absurdity of the small-town art world drama, David Chen makes his way over, a curious glint in his eye. A knowing smile danced upon their lips. Did this imply that the storm painting was no longer available? Everything hung in the balance. It's negotiable, I say, as I take Fiona's hand in mine. She squeezes my fingers, a gesture that feels both reassuring and electric, as if she understands the weight of the moment. Fearful of vanishing into the ether, she inquires softly. What happens now? I survey the scene of my inaugural gallery opening, a tapestry of imperfections and controversies, yet undeniably my own. Now, we confront the unfolding narrative. The repercussions unfolded with an alarming swiftness, arriving by Monday morning far sooner than I had anticipated. By Tuesday, 3 art blogs had featured Harrison's story, and someone had crafted a hashtag that called into question the very essence of the Oxnard art scene hangs in the balance. As Fiona sits in my kitchen, poring over a cascade of rejection emails that seem to echo the struggles of every artist, as I navigate the landscape of potential employers, I find myself immersed in the act of painting, my brush dancing across the canvas with the last remnants of cadmium red, a vivid hue that echoes the vibrant chaos of Los Angeles. In the modern age, she remarked, my reputation has a way of preceding me. As she gestured toward her laptop screen, it seemed clear that the situation was far from favorable. I placed my brush aside and stepped behind her chair, peering over her shoulder to read the email that unfolded before us. With a ruthless candor that implied her dubious professional judgment rendered her unfit for their editorial team. This is my fault, he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. No, she replied with unwavering conviction. This is Harrison's vindictiveness. And honestly, I find myself weary of laboring for those who believe that art criticism ought to resemble a brutal contest. She closes the laptop and leans back against me, a comfortable weight that speaks of shared moments. We have spent the better part of the week in this manner, her immersed in the search for new opportunities. While I lose myself in the strokes of my brush, each of us absorbed in our own pursuits yet intertwined in this quiet companionship. We find ourselves in a delicate dance, feigning ignorance of the world beyond our confines. Perhaps it is time to bid farewell to Oxnard, to seek a fresh beginning in a place where anonymity reigns supreme. Understands this narrative, pondering the implications of finances, a valid observation, even in the face of parting with two cherished pieces. The gallery show looms ahead, yet I find myself in a precarious financial state. With Fiona's unemployment benefits still a month away, uncertainty hangs in the air like a thick fog, casting shadows over our plans. Another option presents itself as she swivels in her chair to meet my gaze. Do you recall Rebecca Chen from the... As I opened the door, the woman before me was unmistakably connected to Ella. A faint memory stirred within me, one that was adorned with the glint of her extravagant jewelry. She called yesterday while you were out buying groceries, posing probing questions about my work. Now, she wishes to meet with both of us. She spoke of matters too delicate for a phone call, her voice tinged with urgency as she made her way down from LA. This afternoon, 3 hours later, Rebecca Chen occupies my living room, her presence strikingly incongruous amidst the vibrant splashes of paint that adorn the walls. Furniture splattered with paint and canvases leaning against every wall. She stands immaculately dressed in white linen that, it somehow retains its pristine condition amidst the chaos of my studio. I'll be direct, she states, accepting a steaming cup of coffee from a mug emblazoned with the words, World's Okayest Artist. I find myself representing 3 galleries nestled in the vibrant heart of downtown Los Angeles. They seek out fresh talent, drawn to those with an authentic voice, even if their paths to discovery are shrouded in uncertainty. She gestures with a wave, embodying the allure of potential yet to be fully realized. In the grand tapestry of the art world, the whispers and rumors often fade faster than the freshness of produce. Ultimately, what holds true significance is not the fleeting chatter, but the enduring value of whether one's work finds its place in the marketplace. She retrieves her phone, revealing a collection of images that capture the essence of a transformed warehouse. The exposed brick walls stand as a testament to its history, while the dramatic lighting casts an enchanting glow, creating an atmosphere that is both inviting and striking. In a realm where profound artistry unfolds, this gallery has recently bid farewell to its chief curator, who has ventured to the vibrant streets of New York. Now, they find themselves in search of an individual possessing a keen intellect and a discerning eye. With a discerning eye and an unwavering willingness to embrace the unknown, she gazes directly at Fiona, undeterred by the recent controversies that swirl around her. The writing reveals precisely the vision they seek. While I find myself in quiet contemplation, pondering alone, in 6 months, as the whispers fade into the background, an exhibition will unfold, bolstered by comprehensive marketing support. The evening was poised on the brink of possibility, a budget laid out with meticulous care, devoid of the usual trappings of boxed wine. An offer lingered, suspended in the atmosphere, tantalizingly close yet just out of reach, like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. To be real. What's the catch? Fiona inquired, her brow furrowing with skepticism. No catch, came the reply, but you'd need to relocate. As the month unfolds, the curator position beckons with an immediate start. I survey my apartment, the water glistening in the light. The rickety easel bears the marks of time, while the ceramic vase that ignited it all rests upon my windowsill, a silent talisman of memories. Can I contemplate it? Certainly, but do not linger too long. This industry is swift in its movements. As Rebecca departs, Fiona and I find ourselves ensconced on the couch, my gaze fixed upon the business card she has inadvertently left behind, its details whispering of the Meridian Gallery's address. In the heart of LA's arts district, a phone number lingered in the air, imbued with the promise of transformation. It's perfect, Fiona murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Too perfect. Life does not always unfold in predictable patterns. At times, however, it grants you precisely what you require at the most opportune moment. She takes my hand, intertwining our fingers with a delicate grace, but only if you're willing. With a courage that felt almost palpable, we strolled down to the pier that evening, a place where I had captured countless sunsets on canvas. The sky, in its benevolence, seemed to respond to our presence, offers yet another breathtaking spectacle, where vibrant orange melds into soft pink, which in turn deepens into a rich purple. I recall visiting this place during my youth. On occasion, Kay would come to collect me after school, and I would find myself seated in this very spot, observing the gradual transformation of light as the day waned. It was in those hours that the realization dawned upon me I wanted to paint. In that moment, colors revealed a clarity that words could never convey. We find ourselves seated in this understanding. In the gentle embrace of twilight, a comfortable silence enveloped the scene as fishing boats, weary yet triumphant, made their way back from the day's toil. It was an ordinary Tuesday evening in Oxnard, yet the simplicity of the moment held a quiet beauty that lingered in the air. It feels as though we stand on the precipice of an ending. "Are you scared?" she inquires, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and anticipation. "Good," she adds. "That means it is truly significant." My phone buzzes, a message from Marcus illuminating the screen. The gallery show has been extended once more. This week, I successfully sold 3 additional pieces. A prospective buyer has inquired about future works, and I took the opportunity to showcase Fiona's talent. Perhaps the message is clear. We may not require the allure of Los Angeles after all. Perhaps, just perhaps, everything is unfolding perfectly right here. Cameron, she turns to face me completely, her gaze unwavering. "You possess the talent to shine on grander stages. Do not allow the confines of the small to diminish your potential." In the heart of the town, success beckoned, urging you to accept a fate that fell short of your true worth. But what of us? What if the allure of Los Angeles shifted the dynamics of our connection? What if everything changed between us? Her argument holds merit. It indeed elevates them. We find ourselves at the center of this week's scandal in Los Angeles. We would merely exist as yet another artist-curator couple amidst the countless others. Yet, there is something more, she asserts. Drawing in a breath, she retrieved an envelope from the depths of her jacket pocket. A recent arrival at the gallery. Within it lay a handwritten letter from David Chen, the contents of which promised to unveil secrets long held. A collector, captivated by my storm painting, has taken it upon himself to advocate for my work among his colleagues. He has expressed a desire for the first option on my upcoming series, a testament to the impact my art has made on him. He is convinced of my remarkable commercial potential, having established connections with prominent collectors across California. Fiona. As I fold the letter with meticulous care, I find myself contemplating the profound implications it holds. This moment could very well signify the dawn of genuine momentum in my career, a turning point that beckons with promise and potential. Recognition extends beyond the confines of Oxnard, reaching those discerning buyers who perceive the investment potential woven into the fabric of my work. A glimpse into a promising future that extends beyond the mere struggles of monthly rent. When must we come to a decision? Rebecca, desiring a response by Friday. One must ponder whether 3 days suffice to ensure our safe return home. Both were ensnared in their reveries, as Los Angeles unfolded before them, a city that embodied every aspiration they had ever nurtured. It was a realm of esteemed galleries, discerning collectors, and the promise of opportunity to thrive as an artist rather than merely exist. Yet it also entails departing from the sole sanctuary I have ever known. Upon returning to my apartment, we prepare dinner together. Pasta adorned with vibrant vegetables, a luxury now within my reach since the sale of a few paintings. In a world where uncertainty looms large, I find myself reflecting on the simple domestic moments that now feel so precious. "May I inquire of you?" As we stood side by side, scrubbing the remnants of our meal from the dishes, I found myself reflecting on that first day, the one filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the promise of new beginnings. When you glimpsed my paintings on my phone, what were your true thoughts? Did you regard this with the seriousness it deserves? I pondered your reaction. I perceived the world through a lens unique to you, unlike anyone I had encountered before. In my heart, I believed that Oxnard was unworthy of your brilliance. And yet now, I find myself reconsidering that very notion. It is time to uncover the depths of your true belonging. She presses her lips against mine, a gentle kiss that carries the sweetness of unspoken promises. In the dim light, she leans closer, her voice barely above a whisper, as if sharing a secret meant only for my ears. "We don't have to decide tonight," she says, her words laced with the promise of possibilities and a future I had never dared to envision for myself. Against my lips, yet deep within my chest, I sense the decision taking shape, blossoming like a palette of colors. Colors merge seamlessly on the damp canvas, an inevitable beauty unfolding, entirely beyond my grasp. We were preparing to load the final strokes. As I loaded my canvases into the rented U-Haul, Kay appeared, coffee in hand, her expression a fierce scowl that seemed potent enough to dissolve the very paint I was working with. Yet, amidst the chaos, my thoughts lingered. "You're making a mistake," she signs, presenting me with a cup emblazoned with the words Los Angeles or bust. "Thanks for the vote of confidence. It is not merely a matter of confidence, rather, it is the act of retreating into an elaborate realm of artistic illusion, where one risks losing touch with the very essence of reality where you came from." I survey my vacant apartment one final time. Water stains linger, etching their memories upon the ceiling. The kitchen counter, a canvas of permanent paint smears accumulated over 5 years of haphazard palette mixing, now seems to have shrunk in stature, as if the weight of time has compressed its presence. Like a cocoon from which I have finally emerged, I hold on to every memory, every word I share with her. I am not forgetting anything. I simply exist in this moment, unbound and aware. Fiona stepped out of the bathroom, a determined look on her face as she cradled the final box of cleaning supplies in her arms. The weight of her task lingered in the air, a testament to her relentless pursuit of order amidst the chaos. In the quiet moments of their farewell, she embraced a diplomatic invisibility, acutely aware that the intricate dance of sisterly bonds often necessitated a respectful distance. Prepared, she stood at the threshold of their shared history, ready to navigate the unspoken complexities that lay ahead. I embrace Kay with an intensity that borders on desperation, inhaling the comforting scent that is so distinctly hers. The fragrant notes of lavender shampoo linger in the air, a soothing balm against the chaos of the day. Her fierce love, a protective embrace, envelops me as she whispers, "Call me when you arrive." She signs softly against my shoulder, a tender gesture that speaks volumes. And it shatters one's heart to witness such turmoil. As I navigate the winding roads, a fierce determination stirs within me. I am resolute in my intent to confront her. Make no mistake, Cameron, you are worthy of joy and fulfillment. 3 hours later, we find ourselves ensnared in the relentless grip of Los Angeles traffic, the hum of NPR filling the air as it delves into the intricacies of arts funding. As the sharp angles of the landscape slice through the air, my stomach twists in a tumultuous dance of exhilaration and dread. Fiona moves with an ease that suggests she has traversed these paths countless times before. With an air of assurance, he navigated the congested streets, executing lane changes that would have left me paralyzed with anxiety. "How are you feeling?" she inquires during a particularly harrowing backup near downtown, leaves me teetering on the edge of nausea, as if I am on the verge of either losing my composure or crafting the most exquisite masterpiece I have ever envisioned. Perhaps both. That seems fitting. Our new apartment is perched above Meridian, a gallery nestled within a repurposed industrial edifice featuring 2 bedrooms adorned with exposed brick. The northern light filters in, casting a glow that stirs a restless energy within me. In terms of brushes, it boasts a size that is double that of my Oxnard studio, with a price tag that is threefold. Yet, Rebecca has confidently assured us that the prospect of a curator's salary, sufficient to cover expenses, still feels surreal. It is, indeed, a reality that is unfolding before me. As I stand in what will soon transform into my studio space, I assure you, this is truly happening. Fiona was already unpacking boxes with a practiced efficiency, the kind that spoke of past relocations and the lessons learned from each. Her enthusiasm for this opportunity radiates in a manner I haven't witnessed since that initial conversation over coffee, where the possibilities seemed as boundless as the steam rising from our cups. In the weeks that followed, we found ourselves entwined in patterns of existence I had never dared to envision. Fiona meticulously curates exhibitions for emerging artists, her keen eye for talent illuminating the hidden gems of the art world. Meanwhile, I find solace in the gentle embrace of natural light, which casts a transformative glow over our dinner, infusing each moment with a sense of wonder and beauty. Each evening, we found ourselves engrossed in conversation, sharing her latest discoveries alongside my explorations into the nuances of color theory. It evokes the essence of a genuine, sustainable partnership, one that embodies the maturity and depth of true adulthood. "There's someone I want you to meet," she says one evening, her fingers gliding over the keyboard as she scrolls through emails on her laptop, while I meticulously clean the brushes of my collection. Maria Santos, an artist of considerable repute, has dedicated 2 decades to the exploration of abstract forms, and she has recently embarked on a new chapter in her creative journey. As she unveils the images on her phone, a sense of awe washes over me. Her technique, nothing short of remarkable, commands attention and admiration. It is bold, striking, and undeniably captivating, a testament to her growing recognition in the field. Canvases that, in their intricate designs, render chaos into a semblance of deliberation. She is hosting an open house at her studio this Friday, presenting a unique opportunity for networking. Do I need to prepare for this event? In my understanding, the essence of representation was to transcend such matters, to rise above them entirely. Representation opens the door, but it is the strength of relationships that ensures one remains within. This Friday, we find ourselves in a transformed warehouse, a space that whispers of history and possibility, an arts district enveloped by the vibrant tapestry of Los Angeles' established art community, in stark contrast to the familiar landscape of Oxnard, where every face was known to me. The gathering before her was a tapestry woven with threads of substantial wealth and far-reaching international ties. Among them stood Maria Santos, a woman in her 50s, exuding warmth and an inviting presence that belied the formidable network surrounding her. Her apron, stained with vibrant hues, possesses an unexpected charm, lending an air of fashion to her creative sanctuary. The studio occupies the entirety of the first floor, with canvases adorning every wall, each one a testament to her artistic journey. And amidst the rotating displays of controlled chaos, "You must be Cameron," she remarked, as she enveloped me in a warm embrace. Reminiscent of long-lost companions, Fiona had spoken highly of your remarkable creations. I am truly grateful. These pieces are 2 decades of relentless exploration, a journey of self-discovery, has led me to the profound realization of what I truly wish to express. Therein lies the essence of the secret. No one informs the budding artist that technique is merely a form of vocabulary. The true challenge lies in discovering one's unique voice. She guides us further into this profound journey. As I step into the studio, I'm greeted by a myriad of past works, each in varying stages of completion. It prompts a reflection on what compels my painting to transcend mere technical skill, reaching for something deeper and more profound. The elements I contemplate weigh heavily upon my mind, for the question at hand illuminates the path ahead. It transforms all it encounters, rendering the mundane extraordinary. Moments possess a sacred quality, don't they? An optimist, perhaps, is a rarity in this world. Most of us begin our journeys with a different perspective. With a hint of cynicism, I ponder the notion of striving for hope, realizing that perhaps I am approaching it all in reverse. Just as I prepare to inquire about her meaning, Fiona lightly touches my elbow, drawing my attention. She beckons me to follow, leading me to a secluded corner where two women are engrossed in a spirited discussion about the nuances of color theory. One is the ever-familiar Rebecca Chen, impeccably composed as always. The other, a younger woman, perhaps in her early 30s, exudes a different kind of energy, with her short, dark hair framing a face marked by intensity. Cameron stood before Elena Rodriguez, a name that resonated with significance, hinting at connections that ran deeper than mere acquaintance. Fiona's younger sister, who manages a gallery in San Francisco, possesses a handshake that is both firm and confident. For months, I have been hearing whispers of your remarkable work, Fiona, yet it seems she remains unaware. She typically reserves her enthusiasm for new artists, but this time, an undeniable excitement courses through her veins. Ever since the incident in Oxnard, she has been fiercely guarding her reputation. The casual mention of our circumstances pricks at her just a bit. Yet, Elena's tone conveys a sense of genuine curiosity, devoid of any hint of gossip. I would love to see your current work, she continues, her voice steady and inviting. Collectors in Francisco hold a deep appreciation for genuine emotional resonance, and so we dedicate the next hour to an in-depth discussion of my technique. Elena, with her keen intellect, poses insightful inquiries regarding my creative endeavors, illuminating the potential for commercial opportunities that lie ahead. By the time the evening draws to a close, she has secured my contact information, weaving it seamlessly into the fabric of our conversation, a testament to the process and the long-term aspirations we both harbor. Fiona assures me that she will visit my studio within the month as we navigate the bustling downtown traffic on our way home. My sister genuinely appreciates my work. Elena does not feign enthusiasm for familial ties. If she is intrigued, it is sincere. As she gazes at the familiar surroundings of our apartment, a spark of potential ignites within her. We sink into the embrace of the couch, takeout Chinese spread before us, accompanied by a bottle of inexpensive wine, the remnants of the day's adventures lingering in the air. The act of networking has imbued me with a sense of vitality, yet simultaneously drained me, akin to the aftermath of a fervent painting session. Are you pleased with this outcome? As I observed Fiona meticulously sifting through the business cards she had gathered over the course of the evening, a question lingered in the air. What did she truly mean by this life? As we construct our world together, she gently sets aside the cards, drawing nearer to me. She nestles against my side, radiating a joy that surpasses anything I had ever imagined. Despite the fact that we effectively dismantled your previous career, particularly due to that incident, her lips brushed gently against my temple, a tender gesture that contrasted sharply with the slow erosion of my passion for art, a job that had become a relentless weight upon my spirit. Now, I find myself adrift. To assist artists such as yourself in discovering their audiences is akin to a resurrection, a dramatic transformation. Much like the words of the woman who paints, as the light cascaded through the window, it felt almost sacred, a revelation she had articulated with such conviction. Later, as she lay in bed, the thoughts lingered, weaving through her mind like a gentle whisper of truth. As the steady hum of Los Angeles traffic drifts through our windows, I find myself reflecting on Maria's remark regarding the rarity of optimism. Perhaps she is onto something. Perhaps it is true that many artists begin their journeys steeped in bitterness, striving to transform their pain into beauty. Yet, I have always held the conviction that colors possess a language of their own, one that conveys truths far beyond mere words. It is impossible to seize the brilliance that illuminates the myriad possibilities, while the shadows conceal. Yet, amidst this interplay of light and dark, two souls can discover one another through the art of creation, shops and forge something enduring from a collective vision. Fiona M., I extend my gratitude for what you have contributed, for witnessing my endeavors before our paths crossed, for instilling in me the courage to depart from Oxnard, and for embodying the value that transcends the complexities she brings. She turns in my arms, her green eyes glimmering as they catch the streetlight streaming through the window. Thank you for painting the world brighter than it was. Perhaps it is indeed that bright. Perhaps we merely required a better light to perceive it. She kisses me then, soft and certain, tasting of potential and the future I am at last courageous enough to embrace. Beyond the confines of Ella continues its ceaseless journey, movement. Yet within the confines of our transformed loft, perched above a gallery brimming with nascent aspirations, everything feels perfectly still, as if we have at last discovered the place where we truly belong, a culmination of 12 months of searching. Later, I find myself in the Meridian Gallery, observing as strangers become enchanted by my paintings. It is a moment that stirs something profound within me for the very first time. Life, in all its unpredictability, rarely ceases to astonish me. The evening light cast over Venice Beach, a fleeting masterpiece, was snatched up within the first hour by an eager collector. A tech executive by the name of Patricia Hoffman devoted 20 minutes to her analysis before finally approaching Rebecca with a proposition that promised to alter the course of their professional lives. It is still hard to fathom that she grasped the essence of what you were capturing. Fiona appears beside me, a glass of champagne in hand, her smile radiant and infectious. She saves it for those rare instances when the universe conspires in her favor. When the gallery is brimming with life and energy, Elena navigated the winding roads away from San Francisco, accompanied by 3 discerning collectors. Maria Santos had managed to gather half of the downtown art scene, a testament to her influence and connections. Kay arrived from Oxnard, yet she devoted the majority of the evening to captivating buyers with tales of my plight. Artist days, Fiona inquired, her voice laced with curiosity. How are you feeling? There was a hint of hope in her tone, as if she sensed that perhaps, just perhaps, I might truly find my way. I might, I replied, the words hanging in the air like a fragile promise. She is correct, this evening transcends mere potential. 6 paintings have found new homes in just 2 hours, and a waiting list has formed for my next creations. Through Elena's connections, the series gallery representation is expanding to San Francisco, a testament to the power of networking and collaboration. Your speech was compelling and resonated deeply with the audience. Perfect, I tell her, recalling the introduction she had provided earlier. She had eloquently articulated my exploration of color and light with a depth that resonated deeply, the sort of scholarly exactitude that instills a sense of intelligence in buyers regarding their acquisitions is something I have honed through experience. Reflecting on your work, a year of practice seems to stretch into an eternity, doesn't it? Coexisting, collaborating, and forging both a career and a relationship in tandem. One begins to perceive the passage of time in an entirely new light. As the vibrant life of the room flourished in a symphony of growth, Patricia Hoffman made her way forward, accompanied by her husband, both of them embodying a sense of purpose amidst the unfolding beauty. With the contented expressions of those who have made wise investments, Miss Carter Patricia declares, We seek to commission a work of art for our home, one that echoes the essence of the Venice Beach painting, while beautifully encapsulating the allure of the Malibu coastline. I would be honored. We delve into the particular size, timeline, and price each detail, sending a tremor through my hands. Shortly after their departure, Fiona beckons me into the secluded confines of the back office, where a private celebration awaits. She closed the door behind us, a sudden wave of nervousness washing over her in ways I couldn't quite decipher. Cameron, there's something I must confide in you, she said, her voice trembling as her stomach churned with unease. Please, just tell me. You're not breaking up with me at my opening, she declared, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. In a swift motion, she reached into her jacket pocket and retrieved a small object, its significance hanging in the air like an unspoken promise. A velvet box, cradled in my hands, brings the world to a standstill. For 3 long weeks, I have borne its weight, anticipating the perfect moment to unveil what lies within. At that moment, she lifted the lid of the box, unveiling a simple gold band adorned with small diamonds, their arrangement forming an elegant spiral pattern. Fiona, I realize we have yet to delve into the subject of marriage, and I understand that this moment may appear hasty. However, as I observe you, my heart speaks with a clarity that cannot be ignored. Tonight, witnessing you finally receive the recognition you have long deserved. She pauses, drawing in a shaky breath. I can't. Envisioning a life devoid of your presence feels utterly impossible. The thought of curating exhibitions without pondering your perspective is simply unfathomable. Envision a moment where one gazes upon art, unburdened by the weight of personal interpretation, where the nuances of light dance freely. In that instant, my throat constricts, a visceral reminder of the lessons you imparted, teaching me to truly see. Beauty once more compels one to embrace the notion that optimism is not a mere folly. Rather, it is an essential force. You have shaped my understanding of this truth. In that moment, as she descended to one knee within the confines of the gallery office, a wave of nostalgia washed over me, rekindling the very essence of why I had fallen in love with art to begin with. Amidst a sea of paperwork and the remnants of empty wine glasses, the distant echoes of my opening celebration linger as Cameron Carter will you marry me? The box trembles in her hands, and I stand frozen, grappling with a question I never imagined anyone would pose to me. Would you? She inquired softly. And then, with a voice that rose above the quiet, yes. With a graceful motion, she slipped the ring onto my finger. With hands trembling as much as my own, the spiral pattern captures the gallery's light, casting delicate rainbows that dance across the space. The pristine white walls of the office exude an air of perfection, and I find myself captivated by the way the diamonds glimmer and dance in the light. Refracting light. You pondered, how did you come to know that Elena played a pivotal role in the design, alongside your sister? Kay stood at the crossroads of her thoughts, recalling the moment she had reached out to her last month, seeking her permission. The setting felt familiar, yet charged with unspoken tension. In her quintessentially old-fashioned manner, she remained steadfast in her ways, even after relocating to the bustling streets of Los Angeles, where she had painstakingly constructed her new life. In this new chapter of her existence, Fiona grasped the profound significance of family. What was it she had uttered, if only to herself, that encapsulated this realization? Her words cut deep, a promise laced with menace. As she spoke of driving down to confront me, to ensure I vanished from her life, it echoed in my mind, a haunting refrain that left me unsettled. A kiss exchanged in that confined office, while my opening unfolds beyond the door, sealing promises neither of us had anticipated. Years ago, within the quaint confines of a handcraft shop in Oxnard, I posed the question, should we share this with others tonight? Let us savor this moment in solitude for a few hours. Tomorrow, we shall turn our attention to congratulations and the intricacies of wedding planning. We return to the celebration, fingers entwined, my new ring discreetly concealed behind the delicate curve of a champagne glass, carefully positioned to maintain its secret. In the delicate art of strategic jacket sleeve management, we navigate the shadows, ensuring that our absence goes unnoticed, as if we were mere whispers in the wind, leaving no trace of our presence or the reality that surrounds us. As the evening draws to a close, we find ourselves unable to suppress our smiles, exchanging glances filled with unspoken camaraderie amidst the final tallying of sales and the scattering of business cards. Elena has confirmed 3 exhibitions in San Francisco scheduled over the next 18 months, while Maria graciously extends an invitation to her studio. As the clock approached midnight, we found ourselves in the hushed confines of the gallery, enveloped by the quiet reverence of her latest creations. The walls, adorned with vibrant canvases, bore witness to the success of her artistry, each red dot a testament to a piece sold, a story shared. In this intimate setting, it was just the two of us, lost in the allure of her work and the promise of the night. Fragments of thought and the serene contentment of aspirations fulfilled wash over me. I find it hard to grasp the reality of this moment as I adjust the wall. The text accompanying my remaining paintings encompasses both the sales and the proposal, every aspect intertwined within it. 2 years ago, I found myself on the brink of eviction in Oxnard. Now, I stand here, engaged to you, amidst the vibrant atmosphere of an art gallery where my work is not only appreciated, but also purchased. Every ounce of effort you put in, Cameron, you have truly earned. She glides behind me, her arms enveloping me in a warm embrace. My waist gently curves as we survey the transformed space, where my paintings now hang beneath the soft glow of professional lighting, each piece elegantly framed and marked with prices that appear almost surreal. What transpires next? I inquire, eager for the unfolding narrative. We shall return home and celebrate in earnest. Tomorrow, we will lay the groundwork for a wedding set for next month, while you embark on the Malibu Commission series. Next year, who can say what awaits? I envision a series of portraits, capturing you in the act of reading, a testament to your essence and the worlds you traverse within those pages. In the soft embrace of morning light, you find yourself laughing at something on your phone, encircled by the artists whose dreams you are nurturing into existence. Careers that seem ideal beyond the confines of Los Angeles shimmer with a vibrant energy that awakens under the cloak of midnight. As I secured the gallery a year prior, the city loomed before me, vast and imbued with an air of sophistication that seemed almost unattainable. This evening, a sense of belonging envelops us, and I utter one final thought as we make our way to the car. I retrieve my phone and capture a photograph of us beneath the gallery sign, both of us beaming like carefree teenagers. Kay had managed to escape with something truly remarkable, leaving behind a trail of evidence that suggested we had unraveled the mystery at hand. Did we not gaze upon the rings? Their brilliance shimmering on my finger, as Fiona appeared resplendent in the gallery's enchanting lighting, amidst the vibrant red hues. Dots, signifying the sold paintings, were visible through the window behind us. Yes, I remarked, as I kissed my fiancé beneath the vast expanse of California stars. We found ourselves entwined in a moment that felt as delicate and beautiful as the ceramic vase we had chosen together. Rests upon our kitchen windowsill, basking in the morning light and casting delicate shadows that dance across the walls, adorned with my. The most recent sketches depict the same vase that initially united us, now serving as a silent witness to the life we have crafted together since that first moment we shared. In that fleeting moment, one reaches out for something exquisite, a glimmer of beauty that beckons from the unknown. It is often within the tales of strangers that the most profound narratives begin to unfold, whispering secrets worth sharing with oneself, and conclude with assurances. This is but one of those promises.